Monday that we have today. I want to read a few scriptures for you coming from the book of Mark, chapter 11, verse 15 to verse number 18 from the Amplified Version. It says, "Then they came to Jerusalem, and he entered the temple and began driving out with force the people who were selling and buying animals for sacrifice in the temple area, and overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who were selling doves. He began to teach and say to them, Is it not written, my house shall be called a house of prayer for all nations? But you have made it a robber's den." The chief priests and the scribes heard this and began searching for a way to destroy him, for they were afraid of him, since the entire crowd was struck with astonishment at his teaching. I also want to read Zechariah chapter number 9, verse number 9 from the New King James Version. It simply says, "Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, your king is coming to you. He is just and having salvation, lowly and riding on a donkey, a colt, the foal of a donkey." It is important for us to remember that throughout the history of Judah, a king's legacy was measured by a single question. Did he walk in the ways of David, or did he walk in the ways of Israel? The kings who followed David's example were Jehoshaphat, Hezekiah, Josiah, and they were marked by one defining feature: they returned the people to God. In their reign, they tore down the altars, reopened the temple, and realigned worship with its original purpose. But when their reforms were incomplete, temporary corrections within a system that kept drifting back towards corruption, they were inherent in whatever happened. But every cleansing was followed by another decline. Every revival was followed by another relapse. The people of God needed more than a reforming king. They needed a different kind of king altogether. And now, on this Holy Monday, the king that they've been awaiting arrived. He rode not on a horse, but on a donkey, humble, yet unmistakably royal. He entered not a throne room, but a temple, and what he found there stopped him in his tracks. What happened next was not a moment of isolated moral outrage. It was the culmination of centuries of divine patience and the opening act of a reformation that no relapse could ever undo. When you consider the kings such as Hezekiah, when he became king at 25 years old, one of the very first things he did was open the doors of the temple. They had been shut, the lamps had been put out, the incense had gone cold, worship had ceased, and Hezekiah looked at his people and said this: "Our fathers have trespassed and done evil in the eyes of the Lord our God. They have forsaken him. They have turned their faces away from the dwelling place of the Lord and turned their backs on him." That was the condition of the house of God: abandoned, darkened, and defiled. And when Hezekiah reopened the doors, he wasn't performing a political act. He was making a bold declaration. This house, the house of God, has a purpose, and we will not let it be forgotten. Fast forward nearly 1,000 years, and Jesus walks into the temple courts, and he finds the same Spirit at work. This time, not darkness, but noise. Not emptiness, but clutter. The court of the Gentiles, the very space designated for non-Jewish worshippers to draw near to God, had been converted into a bustling marketplace. Animals were being sold for sacrifice. Currency was being exchanged. Commerce had taken over the court of prayer. And Jesus speaks with the authority of every reforming king before him and far beyond them when he declares, "My house shall be called a house of prayer for all nations." This was not a suggestion. This was not a preference. This was a divine definition. God designed the temple as a place of communion, intercession, and access, simply a place of prayer where humanity engages with God. Yet, it had been repurposed into something else entirely. Here is the lesson that I want to leave with you today. When the primary purpose of God's house is replaced, everything becomes distorted. Prayer gets replaced with performance. Worship becomes transactional. The sacred becomes routine. And before long, people are busy in the house of God, but never actually encountering the God of the house. This is not only a word for institutions that they may forget the foundation of prayer, but our lives as individuals, if we lose prayer as our foundation, we will eventually lose God's presence as its power. I want to ask you today, is your house, is your life a house of prayer for God? Or there is something in your life that Jesus has to step in and turn the tables and kick away the money changers? It is your choice. On this Holy Monday, make a declaration and a conviction that your life will always be a life that entertains the presence of God, a life that maintains prayer as its foundation. And as you go about your day, just know that prayer works and prayer changes everything. And when Jesus comes in, what will he find in your house? Thank you so much for joining us. God bless you, and we'll see you soon.
We lift you up, Jesus. We declare that you are worthy. Oh, you are worthy to be praised. So worthy, so worthy. It was my cross you bore, so I could live in the freedom you died for. And now my life is yours, and I will sing of your goodness forevermore. Worthy is your name, Jesus. You deserve the praise. Worthy is your name. Worthy is your name, Jesus. You deserve the praise. Worthy is your name. Oh, so worthy. So worthy. We declare you worthy. We declare you worthy. exalted now in the heavens as your glory fills this place. You alone deserve our praise. You're the name above all names. Be exalted now in the heavens as your glory fills this place. You alone deserve our praise. You're the name above all names. Be exalted now in the heavens as your glory fills this place. You alone deserve our praise. You're the name above all names. Be exalted now in the heavens as your glory fills this place. You alone deserve our praise. You're the name, yes, be exalted, exalted now in the heavens as your glory fills this place. You alone deserve our praise. You're the name.